Okay. Well, good evening. It's March 4th, and we are going to call tonight's meeting of the Land Use and Building Management Committee of the City Council to order. Uh, my name is Colin Hostin, our committee chair, joined tonight by my colleagues Jim Freyer, Nicole Eady, Jan Dickenshine, and Brian Bailey, our vice chair, along with our capable staff members, both representing the city and the Board of Ed. And so we will go right into the agenda with the public hearing. Tonight we have two public hearings. The first is regarding a proposed land swap, readjusting the property lines between the land the city owns at 328 Flax Hill Road and land owned by Douglas Peoples at 25 Pogany Street. This is at the location known as Photo Farm. This is a hearing that was previously held and is now being uh, reheld to make sure that all the protocols are followed. Is there anything else that we need to say to frame this before we go into it?
No, Colin.
Okay, then the hearing is officially opened. Are there any members of the public here to comment?
We have no one on Zoom.
Okay, giving in one more call. No one on Zoom. Then we will officially close that hearing. Makes sense. We've already been through that. And that allows us to go to the second public hearing tonight. That's regarding the naming of the children's reading room at the Norwalk Belden Library to be renamed the Celeste Weigar Children's Reading Room. This was we discussed at our February meeting, and we did hear from the family of Miss Gar. And so tonight we would like to hear from anyone in the public, if there's anyone here.
There is not.
Um, Hi, sorry, this is Moina. I know that Mr. Gar is also going to be coming on again this evening. And he said he's just going to be coming on soon. Is this the same group that was heard him last time or?
Yes, yeah, and Moina, yes, and so he is more than welcome to attend. Tonight was more or primarily for members of the public to
Oh, okay.
react to or comment on this agenda item, and making one more final call for public comment, and hearing none, uh, I will call that public hearing to a close. Moina, you can tell Mr. Gar, it's he's more than welcome to join us. The next step will be for this to go to the full council, I believe. Uh, Joanne,
It will
check my
be,
math.
it will be in the old business, which is after public participation,
Oh, right. So we are going to make a
a
motion.
motion.
Okay, that's
Yes.
right.
hmm
Okay. Well, to go right into that, the next step in our agenda is to review and accept the minutes of our meeting from February 4th, which are in the agenda packet. Mr. Degenstein,
I move that we approve the minutes.
thank you. Uh, Miss Edie,
Sorry. There's a correction on page 4 under attendance. They have Councilmember Dewan's first name spelled incorrectly. But that's all I saw so far. Thank you.
thank you, Miss Edie. Are there any other corrections or comments on the minutes from February 4th? Hearing, seeing none. Is there a motion to accept the minutes as amended? Okay. All in favor, please say aye, raise your hand. That seems unanimous. Thanks, everyone. And now we go into public participation. I don't know if in the time we've said that, there's anybody who's joined on Zoom who wishes to participate.
If anybody would like to speak, I'm sorry, speak, could you please raise your hand electronically? We have no one raising their hands, although Mr. Gar is on now. So,
Thank you. And you may, if it's okay, elevate Mr. Gar as we are going to old business, starting with the action here to authorize Mayor Barbara C. Smith to execute any and all instruments to effectuate a boundary adjustment between 328 Flax Hill Road, also known as Photo Farm, and 25 Pogany Street, in accordance with the map entitled Property Survey depicting adjustment of lot lines, Lot 1 and 4, map 13083 and NLR 25 Pogany, Norwalk, Connecticut, prepared for Douglas Peoples, prepared by Ryan, and falls on file in the Law Department. Is there a motion? Okay, the motion, thanks, Jim. We have Darren from the Law Department here. I think this has now been discussed probably 7 times, Darren. I don't know if there's more to add.
There really isn't any more to add. It's just a procedural cleanup, council member. I'm happy to answer any questions, but I agree it's probably been discussed and vetted more than enough.
Well, just in case, are there any other questions or comments from the committee? Okay, hearing none. There's a motion on the floor. All in favor of item A, please say aye or raise your hand. Okay, perfect. We are unanimous. We now come to the motion regarding the children's reading room. I will read it. It says, be it resolved that the city of Norwalk hereby authorizes the following. Upon receipt of the gift in the amount of $100,000 or more from the trust, the city of Norwalk authorizes that a room of no less than 200 square feet, accessible to the general public within the Norwalk Public Library, be named the Celeste Y. Gar Children's Reading Room, the location or relocation of which shall be at the sole discretion of the city of Norwalk, and that the mayor is authorized to enter such agreements and other instruments as the mayor deems necessary and appropriate for the purposes herein stated. Mr. Degenstein, thank you for making the motion. And so this was discussed at our February meeting. We just opened and closed public comment on this. We are lucky to have people like Celeste Gar who have really contributed so much to our city, our schools, our libraries, and this opportunity to consider renaming the room in her honor. I will open the floor for any comments or discussion. I'll maybe hand it to you first, Moina, as our library board president.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Moina Noor, and I live at 15 Pequot Drive, and I'm president of the Norwalk Library Board. I'm joined here by Randall Gar, and I think Janie Williams may also be a fellow board member, may also be present. I spoke to you all last time about naming this room for Celeste Y. Gar, and I'm here to reiterate that request from the Norwalk Library Board. The council's the room naming falls very much within the council's naming ordinance, as Celeste Gar has made a significant contribution to the community through public service and deeds, is respected for her accomplishments and good conduct, and has historic ties to the city. She was an educator in the Norwalk Public Schools, dedicating her professional life to teaching the city's children. Her family's roots in Norwalk extend back over 100 years. Celeste herself attended the Norwalk Public Schools, graduating as valedictorian. After attending UConn, she deliberately chose to return home to teach and raise her family here. She lived on Apple Street until 2005, more than 80 years of personal residence and service to the community. She was a neighbor of fellow board member Patsy Brescia, who unfortunately couldn't attend tonight. And she, the library was the cornerstone of Celeste's life and her commitment to education and community. And as Mr. Gar will tell you, the library was one of his mother's favorite places, and he has many fond memories there. So, the library urges you to, you know, the Common Council to name this room in the children's section for Celeste Weigar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Moina. And I do see Mr. Gar here. While you're not required to, I do want to give you the opportunity to add anything, although we appreciate your comments made at the February meeting.
Again, I thank you. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Again, I want to thank you for considering this. And in light of what Ms. Noor read, her street address was Apple Tree Lane, not Apple Lane, and it was all one word. So if this is going to become an official record, it should be correct. But before she grew up on West Avenue, her first house was on Melbourne Road, and that's where I was. And then she moved. I think I was in the fifth grade to Apple Tree Lane. So again, thank you for considering this. My wife will join us as soon as she can. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Mr. Gar. And I see Jenny's hand up as well.
Yes, my name is Janie Williams. I'm
Yeah.
a Norwalk Public Library treasurer, and I've had several conversations with Mr. Gar regarding the possibility of naming the room in honor of his late mother, Celeste Weigar. As you know, she was a long-term resident, and together with the children, they were dedicated patrons of the Norwalk Public Library throughout her life. And I asked permission to do this, to read her obituary, which explains a little bit more about who she is. She was born in Norwalk. She lived the entire Norwalk except for 4 years that she studied at the University of Connecticut. At the age of 16, she graduated from Norwalk High School as valedictorian and studied at the University of Connecticut, from which she graduated in 1945. Originally an engineer student and the first female transferred in engineering school, she was called Chester. She transferred to School of Education and received her degree in teaching. She married Leon J. Gar in 1949. Using her college degree, she taught at the junior high school while her husband commuted to New York City to complete his education. Her first child was born in 1954. After the birth of her second child in 1956, she became an at-home mother, also helping her husband's CPA law office in Darien. Upon the death of her husband in 1977, she continued volunteering and then in 2005, she moved to Needham, Mass, to be close to her grandchildren. 3 years later, upon the onset of Alzheimer's, she moved to the Heritage in Framingham, Mass, where she lived until her death. She leaves her daughter, Hilary Gar Rosenbaum, son-in-law Jimmy Rosenbaum, and grandchildren, Joshua, Ari, and all of Needham, Mass, and her son and daughter-in-laws, Doctors Randall Gar and Laura Kalman of Goleta, California. And their service was held here in Norwalk. So that kind of gives you that she was someone that loved Norwalk. And I said that as the last meeting is, to me, that an example of I love Norwalk. That's a perfect example of the slogan that we have. I love New York. I love Norwalk. So So that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you
So,
so much for sharing that, Janie. And I think, hearing from our library board and from the family, and and certainly um, all the details noted in her very storied obituary, I don't think there's any question here that about the contributions that Celeste made to the city of Norwalk and how her legacy continues to infuse a lot of what we enjoy today. I do have one question, and I don't know if this is one for Darren. Um, and the question is really regarding the ordinance around naming rooms, buildings, or public property. The ordinance does say that it specifically says it cannot be done in exchange for payment. And so, what I would like to, put forward is if we could vote on, if we can make this if we can separate this into two resolutions.
Well, I think you can, but Colin, it's excuse me, Councilmember Holston. I reviewed if you I reviewed the ordinance and it's interesting the way it was drafted and when it refers to connecting the naming with some financial aspect, it refers to group naming and not individual naming. And the distinction in nomenclature, the distinction, the linguistics is in the preceding section where it talks about, it talks specifically about individuals and group naming. The ordinance doesn't specify why there is that dichotomy, but it exists. And so I would suggest it's probably not necessary if the ordinance committee wants to clean that up in the future but I would read it as a matter of statutory construction that the use of individual and group in one section and then followed by the use of group only and not individual in the operative section regarding financial matters actually allows for the two to be connected. But that being said, it's my 2 cents. Certainly could be disentangled if the committee so would like to.
Would that entail, Darren, the changing of the ordinance? Would we have to then wait on this before?
No, not at all. I mean, as of right now, in fact, I can pull up my screen so I can show you exactly what I'm saying if you'd like. I don't want to unnecessarily take up time here, but no, my interpretation of the naming ordinance in its current form is it doesn't necessarily require any change in the resolution.
Yeah.
I was just saying that to the extent that that the city would want to close that, I guess, gap if it is one, it could do so, but it exists right now. If you don't mind, I'll just share my screen. I'll show you exactly what I mean for a second.
Thank you.
So here it refers to individual or group. So identifying by naming and honor an individual or group. And then it comes down here, and this is where you talk about position of influence, and it just refers to groups. Now I'm not really sure why that is, but it does exist. And again, I would tell you just as a general matter of statutory construction, the lack of it indicating both individual and groups suggests that groups are different than individuals, and this relates to a naming for an individual. Hopefully that is clear enough. I feel like I'm garbling the analysis a little
No,
bit.
that's extremely helpful. Actually, I only had paragraph B in front of me. I did not realize the paragraph A separated individuals from groups. and certainly I think from a literal, standpoint, I agree with your reading. I do wonder, and I only play a lawyer on TV, if the intent would not be similar for individuals. Certainly, we understand the intent behind not having groups use financial means to sway a renaming decision. I can't imagine that that same sentiment, even if it's not clearly written, wouldn't exist for individuals as well.
Again, Councilman, if the committee would like to disentangle it as a matter of, um, you know, to be very conservative about it, I know folks on this committee were probably members of the ordinance committee at the time it was adopted. It certainly has flexibility to do it. I would say that as a matter of pure statutory construction, whether it was intended or not, it didn't happen. And as a result, that's how I would interpret this statute at this moment, is based on the express language of it.
Well, I'm happy to just hear other opinions. I don't want to belabor it if it's not that crucial, but are there any other opinions about this? Mr. Dagenshine?
Yes, I think that the honor is well deserved. And I think that the proposed contribution, the gift, is extremely generous. I would take the advice of counsel that this is distinct from a group so that we can move forward with it. However, I would bring it to the attention of ordinance and have the language changed in the future so that it can be more clear. But I don't want the family or the friends of Celeste to feel that this isn't proceeding and that our sentiments aren't. I'm speaking for myself, of course. My sentiment would be to move ahead with this. I think it's well deserved, and I would like to see it move forward. Since we have found this glitch and we've discussed it, and council has advised that it should be nothing to worry about, I think that we should proceed.
That seems like a fair compromise to me. Are there any other thoughts?
Again, there's no harm in doing what you suggested, Colin, at all. I want to be clear. I just wanted to comment that you have flexibility either way because of the way the ordinance is written.
And just to be clear, Mr. Callahan, so that when you say no harm, it does not change the timeline. We could move two separate resolutions to the full council tonight.
Yes, if that's the preference of the committee, it absolutely can do that. You can amend the motion. This is a regular meeting. You're allowed to amend the agenda item on the floor. I just wanted to present the full envelope of options.
Thank you. That being the case, unless there are any strong objections, I would prefer to be conservative and amend the motion to read, be it resolved that the city of Norwalk hereby authorizes the following. One, that the mayor is authorized to enter into agreements and other such instruments as the mayor deems necessary to complete the receipt of a gift in the amount of $100,000 or more from the Celeste Gar Trust. And then I would like to introduce a separate amendment that reads, be it resolved that the city of Norwalk hereby authorizes the following. That the city of Norwalk authorizes a room of no less than 200 square feet accessible to the general public within the Norwalk Public Library to be named the Celeste Weigard Children's Reading Room, the location or relocation of which shall be at the sole discretion of the City of Norwalk.
So moved.
Thank you. Does that make sense, Darren?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we are moving both resolutions together. Thank you, Mr. Freyer. Any further discussion?
Darren, did you happen to write that quickly? I'm gonna have to make it clear.
But we have a
Recording.
the recording as
Okay.
well as
Perfect. Yes,
we should have a
correct. If Darlene got it too. Okay.
I have it, yeah.
Okay. You're the best. Thank you.
we'll build upon it.
Okay.
Thank you. I see no further discussion, but I do want to acknowledge Mr. Gar.
I, I'd like to correct something from what you just composed. The gift would not, the Celeste Gar trust is gone. It was dissolved when her assets were distributed. So you would be referring to a non-existent entity. It would come through our trust, which I believe is the W. Randall Gar and Laura Kalman something or another. I can get it for you.
Thank
So
you for that.
I just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you for that correction. We will make sure to correct that in the actual motion. We will leave it as is written in the current version as the trust, and we will clarify the name if we need to at a later point.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gar. Okay, if there's no further discussion on the two resolutions as amended, I will call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Terrific. Thanks for bearing with me. I tend to be a little conservative when these things hit for public comment. Just to clarify to the family of Ms. Gar and to our library board and library staff who are here, we want to thank you for your advocacy. We will be moving both of these resolutions to our colleagues of the full council for consideration at Tuesday's meeting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We appreciate your patience. And so we can now move ahead into new business, starting with item A, review the proposed acquisition of property located at Gilbert Hill Road for a pedestrian right-of-way and proceed with the approval of the following actions. City is hereby authorized to purchase, acquire, and/or take by exercise of eminent domain pedestrian right-of-way easement in the real property identified as, so noted in the agenda, dated on a survey map entitled survey name noted, dated September 22nd, 2025, and prepared by Advanced Surveying for the purposes of pedestrian passage by the general public. And further, that Mayor Barbara C. Smith or her designee is authorized to execute and deliver any and all agreements, documents, and other instruments necessary to purchase, acquire, and/or take by exercise of eminent domain powers of said property. And I guess we could do 1 and 2 together. Section A-24, referral to the Planning and Zoning Commission, reacquisition of a pedestrian right-of-way easement in the real property identified on the agenda on a survey map and title on the agenda, dated September 22nd, 2025, and prepared by Advanced Surveying for purposes of pedestrian passage by the general public. I see our friend Mr. Travers here, and maybe he has a little bit more to offer on this.
Sure. So I will let Darren handle the legalese of this transaction, and hopefully we can get him before he gets run over by that cable car that's behind him. But I think I can speak to this. So I joined the city roughly 5 years ago. Shortly after joining the city, I had my very first meeting where this was a concern of the local community to make sure that they ensured this passage. This is a critical path for commuters to get to the Rowayton train station. It has served as a pedestrian path for probably its entirety. It's maintained as a path, and I think there was much concern of the community of just assuring that this maintains. The city is making an additional investment. We are this past year. Worked with our Public Works Department. We completed sidewalks on which the year before the department completed sidewalks on Rowayton. We are designing sidewalks on Hunt Street, which would be a direct connection to this path and then a direct connection to the train station. This really does speak to the values I think that we have as a city of providing multimodal transportation, primarily usage of pedestrian path. So I know that I would be massively in support of this, and I know that the hundreds of people that we had show up at public meetings over the course of time about pedestrian passage in Rowayton would be in support of this as well. I think they would be very excited in moving this one forward.
Thanks, Jim. Darren, is there anything that you wanted to add to this, or?
Just briefly that we had the property surveyed. It was formerly a paper road, 315 feet long, 40 feet wide. Over time, the adjacent property owners, for lack of a better word, encroached over that paper road to some extent or another. There's currently fencing off the boundary lines that are actually over the paper road, leaving about a 10-foot wide, and it's kind of a hodgepodge of fencing, some wood, some other types of fencing along the property line, depending on what lot you're walking along. But it leaves about a 10-foot wide trailway through from Hunt Street to Woodbine, back and forth. And so what we requested our surveyor to do is to basically geolocate the center line in between the fencing and provide a 9.5-foot wide or 4.25 foot on either side of the center line easement area, so that it really doesn't affect the property owners at all. It effectively will just extinguish sort of any confusion regarding the rights of the public to use the property for purposes of pedestrian passage, and any confusion over the ability for the city to maintain or otherwise ensure that the passage is open and available to the public for use.
Thanks, Darren.
Got it.
And just real quick, based on the materials in the backup, a potential purchase or eminent domain acquisition would be roughly about $30,000, give or take.
Well, that's an interesting question. So we had two appraisals done on the property. This is an easement. It's very, very difficult to value easements. It's also a remnant parcel, in the sense that it's a paper road that dates back to the over 100 years ago, in the original subdivision map. Obviously, the properties surrounding have all been built up over time. So that's just to say it's a very difficult property easement to value. We've had two appraisers do evaluation. Both appraisers we have on call to do appraisal work on our real estate tax appeals. So they are tried, true, and trusted appraisers. They each provided a value. We took the average of the two. and our obligation is to do that and deposit that in the court. And anyone claiming an interest in the property can then appeal that valuation as to whether it's adequate or fair market value. I don't expect much of an issue, if any. But whenever you follow that process, you're kind of along for the ride.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey.
Great. Thanks. Just to say a couple things on this. One, I just want to echo what Jim Travers said about just like the impact of the sidewalks in that whole, in Norwalk in general, but also in that area around the train stations. It's really been transformative over the last year since they've been implemented. So, it's just been, really sort of helped our community. And then the second thing, I've been in, that area going to the train since 2011, and I always thought that was, owned by the city in the sense that that's how the community kind of treats it, that, people walk through it. It's a core part of how people get to the train, which is great. They're not driving, they're walking every day, which is really, I don't know if we would have the capacity at the train parking lot if everyone drove and didn't walk. So that's great. And just two questions about this change. One is, do we know how the neighbors feel about? Are they supportive of this? And I mean, the people that are on either side of the pathway. And then the second is, now that this would be city property, would we be responsible for shoveling it? That's obviously has been, top of mind all around the train station over this winter, is ensuring that there is, the snow is removed, allow people to get to the trains. So just wondering about that as well.
I don't want to jump in ahead of Jim here, but so traditionally you have your sidewalks that are as a general proposition are shoveled, or the snow and ice is cleared by the abutting property owner. Here, this is more of a recreational trail than a part of the what I would consider the public highway or roadway system. And so I don't think that would fall within as an obligation on the abutting property owners. Could it be absorbed into the snow clearing portfolio of a department in the city? I suppose it could. I think that's a conversation that probably has to occur at some point down the road because of operational costs. It's not a paved trail, so it is more difficult to maintain for snow and ice, or treat for snow and ice, than a paved trail would be. But I think at this point, we don't have enough information to answer that question.
And if I could just chime in there, Darren. So Brian, I can tell you that at the time, yes, the people all around the area were very much in support of this. I believe there was one gentleman that wasn't in support of anybody walking by his house. He's since moved from the property, so I don't think that is a concern anymore. But
I think I've walked by his house before.
I do think it's a massive value to the community. I know that at the time I had some conversations with the Sixth Taxing District, and I think the Sixth Taxing District was falling into the same thing, that it was this land that was unassumed by anyone, and I think it was concerned about any type of ownership or any type of maintenance. But I can certainly have a conversation with the new leadership at the Sixth Taxing District to see if they would be able to add resources to help maintain the trail in those particular. I know at the time it was very much desired from the Sixth Taxing District. Not speaking for Vanessa or her team, I know that speaking from the last number of snowstorms, I don't know that they have the capacity.
Yeah.
So I think that that would be a challenge, but I think we could look at what are the alternates for having this. And look, I also think we could work with the community, and maybe there's something that we could do to provide a little layer of betterment on it, with the condition that budding neighbors would help to remove the snow when it happens. We can
Great,
continue.
thank you.
Yeah, we'll have those conversations with the community when this is finalized.
Thank you, Jim. Mr. Frere?
Yes, thank you, Colin. To Darren, I guess, who would we pay the easement? Who gets the money on the easement? I mean, is that just a number of value to put on it, or are we actually paying the budding neighbors? Because I remember we looked at this and it was kind of mysterious as to who really owned it. Not mysterious, but the owner was part of a realty company that disappeared.
Yeah, so just not to get too far down the weeds on the legal nuances, but yes, there is a company that owned the property dating back to the very early 1900s. I believe the company dissolved in the 20s. What we would do is, as a procedural matter, we would, in commencing eminent domain action, we would list the company, the dissolved company, and then its heirs and assigns. And then we would list the abutting property owners, because they have encroachment over it for longer than the statutory period of time, as well as there is sort of a theory, a case law ferry, which adjacent property owners own to the center line of the road, and this would be on an actual road, not a paper road, and that the municipality right away is effectively an easement in favor of the public for pedestrian and vehicular traffic. So there could be potential heirs of the corporation, albeit a few generations later in time, or adjacent property owners that want to try to attempt to claim an interest. That's really for the court to resolve. Ultimately, the statute requires us to engage in this fair market value analysis and deposit in good faith that sum into the court, and allow the court to decide who's entitled to what. So, could it be that no one makes claim to the funds? Possibly. My guess is that somehow, some way, someone will make claims to the funds.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Jim. Mr. Digenscheid?
Thank you. I know in New York State there is a concept in planning law called a prescriptive easement. I don't know if that also exists in Connecticut. But what it says is if there is some kind of an easement on land that has been used for a period of, say, 7 years or more, it becomes permitted forever, or until everybody agrees that it is not going to be used for that purpose. And if that's the case, and the use of that property has been as a pedestrian right-of-way for the people of Norwalk to get from one point to another, then the easement will stand, whether it's owned by the city of Norwalk or not. So I don't know if that's something that's been looked into, Mr. Callahan, or whether it's something that should be looked into, but I think it's one more, I don't want to call it a weapon, but one more tool that could be used in deciding how to handle it. But certainly I think it should continue. I think there's also a possibility that it should be paved because it will be less of a liability for those who are using it if there's level ground. And I just don't know how much more expensive it will be for Public Works to shovel it during periods of time when there's snow and ice, or de-ice it when there's ice on it. But I do think that it is a benefit to the city, and we should continue bringing this to a close.
Before we move
Sorry,
forward,
I just wanted to interrupt. Delene, could you let Johan in? He's he's looking to join.
Yeah, give
Sorry.
me one sec.
Jan, we did look at that issue, and we looked at a number of ways to view this from a legal standpoint. There is statutory case law on adverse possession. Prescriptive easements is an effective form of adverse possession, subset of it. There is a statutory period, Connecticut's 15 years. You could acquire prescriptive easements in other ways as well. Without getting too much in the weeds regarding, how we landed on eminent domain, suffice it to say that, we need to make sure we're looking to clear up the land records once and for all on the issue. And this was evaluated as the clearest path to the goal on that. It may be the case that in order to claim prescriptive easement, the city may lack standing. You would need a member or members of the public to be the plaintiff in that litigation, effectively seeking a declaration from the court that a prescriptive easement arose by virtue of the facts and circumstances of the use. We can't represent a member of the public as attorneys for the city. We can only represent the city. And so that's probably a little more than anyone wanted to know about the sort of things I think about on a daily basis. But we did look at it.
Thank you.
thanks everyone. And sounds like there has been some very thorough research and overview into the best path forward here. So I'm not sure that I have any reason to not want to move forward with this. Jan?
I would just like to move that we move forward with the referral so that we can bring this to an end.
Terrific. If there's nothing else to add, all in favor of the motion, please say aye or raise your hand. Terrific, and that's unanimous. Thank you. Thanks to all for the work involved here. That allows us to move to item B, authorizing the purchasing agent to issue a purchase order to AAA Band Rentals LLC for project 4471R band instruments replacements for Norwalk High, Bryn McMahon, West Rocks, Ponus Ridge, Nathan Hale, Rhoton, and Concord schools in the amount of $282,363. Account noted. Forward to the City Council for further action. I see Mr. Pennington. Hi, long time.
How are you, Mr. Holstein?
Doing okay.
Good evening, Land Use Committee. So many of our middle school band instruments, our current inventory are over 20 years old. The normal life expectancy of a school-owned instrument is approximately 10 years. We've also noticed a decline in family-owned and rented instruments. The financial burden of renting or purchasing an instrument just really is beyond the means of many of our families. As you know, the music programs in the city of Norwalk have historically been a showcase for Norwalk Public Schools. To provide an exceptional music education, we want to be able to supply our students with high-quality instruments in addition to the quality instruction. This is our third year through our capital request, where we have been looking to update our band and strings instruments. So in year one, we really focused solely on the high schools for band. Last year, we really focused on the high schools for our strings. And now we are looking to really focus on our middle schools, but then there were a couple pieces in the high school that we wanted to close out. And so there are some requests, small requests for Norwalk High School and Brian McMahon. But it is really to be able to purchase our new band equipment for all of our middle schools.
Thank you. And that they're 20 years old is about time. Mr. Degenscheid.
Yes, I really applaud the work that has gone into the music program of the Norwalk schools, and I would like to see that continue. But I'm puzzled. Is there a precedent for land use and building management to subsidize the purchase of instruments, music instruments? It just seems to me that it's misplaced.
Historically, there are certain items through our capital request that go this route through the process. And I know that I've had different conversations, but things like instruments or textbooks also would go this process as well. So
through this committee.
Correct.
And that was my question, Jan, so thanks for asking. Mr. Bailey?
Yeah, just to follow on Jan's question, or to continue the conversation, I assume that it's coming through our committee because it is a capital request, and obviously Mr. Bedington just said that we're replacing 20-year-old instruments, so that is a definition of a capital investment. So I just want to confirm that's why it's here, not that we have a purview over instruments, but we have a purview over, capital investments for both the city and the Board of Education.
Correct.
Yes, that is correct. You will hear locker requests here and there from the Board of Ed, as well as all of their upgrades for the summer program. So you'll hear things relating to those items as well as we get closer to the summer.
Great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And just to be clear, this is capital funds that have already been appropriated and are part of the current fiscal budget. So, yeah, who wants to get the kids some new instruments? Okay, so I think, did we move this?
No, I move it.
Thank you, Mr. Freer. Is there any further discussion or questions from Mr. Pennington? All right, now who wants to get the kids new instruments? All in favor, raise your hand.
Yes.
Thank you. Jan, I didn't see your hand, but I'm going to assume it is. Thank you.
No, that's an abstention. There's something about it that I feel, yes, I want the children to have the instruments. I just think that it's a very strange way to do it, especially after we just went through a budget process with the school board, and we raised the amount of money in our cap in order to accommodate the school district. It's just falling the time. Maybe it's the timing of that, but it seems to me that the need for the instruments, and for that matter, textbooks when that arrives, should be coming out of the school budget or some other program rather than land use and building management. I understand that the capital has been provided, and I don't want to stop it from happening, but I think you've already got a majority, and I'd be happy to just.
No, it's okay. I think just to clarify,
Go ahead,
this is coming out of the school budget.
I was just going to say that this is still in the
Yeah.
school budget.
This is the school capital budget.
Correct.
Oh,
The school
in
capital
that case,
budget.
then you've got my yes.
Yes.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good to clarify. This was part of the.
And
their
it's
cap.
also in last year's budget. It's not
Yes.
this year's budget.
It's in the current fiscal budget, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. So yes, thanks for that clarification. So we're going to count that as unanimous. Mr. Dickenstein, thank you so much. And thank you, Mr. Pennington.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
That leads us to the next item, which is item C, request a public hearing to hear comments regarding the naming of the community room in the New Norwalk Community Recreation Center in honor of Ernie Dumas. Ernie was a community advocate at his core, led by his unwavering faith and commitment to live his life in service to others, and he did that to the fullest every day. Mr. Dumas served the city council and was involved with many efforts, initiatives to help improve and uplift his community. And so, all right, there's a lot of hands. I'm just going to first ask Joanne if there's any further context we would like.
No, I was hoping Mr. Sowers or I believe Darlene was going to speak. Is there anyone in the waiting room, Darlene?
There is not.
No. Okay. Unfortunately, that's all I know is that with a new recreation center, which we will be finishing up our project in the next couple months or next month or so. I know that before any signage was going to be made, this came up, and I believe Darlene Young had brought it to the attention of the recreation department. And the only reason why it's coming through us is because of naming in particular. So I'm unfortunately not familiar with Mr. Dumas.
Thank you, Joanne.
Yes.
I did see a couple hands. I want to acknowledge Mr. Freyer first.
I was just moving them.
Moving.
Okay, the item is moved. Thank you. Miss Edie, were you also moving it? Okay. Is there any discussion, thoughts? For those of us who did know Ernie, everything written here is true and then some. He was somebody who just did everything he could for everybody else and did not really let the fact that something was difficult or daunting stand in his way.
And this is just to approve to have a public hearing. So next month there would be a public hearing and you would hear more comments from the community.
When is this recreational center scheduled to open?
We are finishing up in a couple of weeks, really. The furniture is supposed to be delivered in 2 weeks. So they will kind of do a soft opening as they get closer to the summer and getting some programming going. But yeah, very, very soon.
Wow.
Yes. Okay. More than happy to give everyone a tour of that one as well.
Terrific.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Miss Edie.
No, thank you, Chair. No, that's what I was going to ask her.
Yes.
Will we be able to get a tour?
Yes,
Are
absolutely.
we having a grand opening?
I believe I did speak to Mr. Sowers the other day about it, and I think they want to have the programming in place, and there's some things that they want to have in place, and then they're going to have a grand opening. Yes,
Okay.
but we can always get the sneak peek beforehand. I was just there yesterday, so they are moving very quickly in these last 2 weeks,
Yeah.
trying to get everyone out the door.
Okay. All right. Thank
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Edie. Any further comments or about this? This would move this question to a public hearing. The only kind of reaction I have is obviously not obviously, but having just looked at the ordinance for Ms. Gar, this would kind of require us to take into consideration that Mr. Dumas has been deceased for less than a year. But the ordinance allows for that. Okay, hearing no further discussion, once, twice. All in favor of the motion to move to a public hearing, please say aye or raise your hand. Okay, Mr. Lopez?
I think he's got his hand up.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, moving on, we will push that forward to a public hearing.
Sorry, Chair, that's a yes. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Thank you. He's probably on baby duty tonight. And last but not least, item D, approve Online Building Systems LLC as the sole source vendor to service and repair the 911 dispatch center's backup power system at the police headquarters. This approval shall expire on July 1, 2029.
I'll be speaking tonight in regards to bringing this forward, this sole
Okay.
source.
Thank you. And
I did
just-
notice
just
Jan
to-
had his hand raised. I don't know if he wanted to say something before I speak.
I think he's going to make the motion.
Go right ahead. I was about to do that, but go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say this vendor's been with us for almost since the inception of the police department. They're very familiar with the infrastructure. We have received pricing from other vendors over the years, but we have a long-standing relationship. And because of the criticality of the UPS system and what it serves, we'd like to maintain that relationship going forward with a sole source agreement.
Neil.
I still want to make the motion. Didn't change my mind.
Okay. Is that the motion, Mr. Degenshine?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on this? I'm just trying to find.
My only question is is there a cost per year, or is it?
No, there's intervals, right? So on a yearly basis, they just come in, take readings. It's a minimal cost. It's a service call. They come in, they do voltage readings, clean the equipment. The only thing that you typically see is if there's a problem comes up, they get called in for emergency repairs. That cost can vary. The other thing is batteries. Typically every 3 to 5 years we replace them.
What's our annual cost on this then?
It varies on the amount of service. I believe it's like $500 for the service call to come out and do the basic maintenance.
And it's an agreement that we have, a contract we have with them.
There's a service agreement out there.
And just to point everyone to the material in our backup tonight.
Yeah.
The sole source request lists a cost of $3,000.
Yeah, that's why I was curious. So is that $3,000 up to $3,000?
It's up to $3,000. Typically, the batteries don't. The biggest cost typically is if we have a failure of a component, which obviously can go outside that $3,000. But typically, $3,000 has been our average cost for maintaining the system. The only other thing that gets a little expensive is the batteries, and typically it comes in on a 3 to 5 year basis, depending on how the readings come out on the annual maintenance.
Thanks, Neil. Yeah, my reading of the request is that it is an approval through 2029 for up to $3,000, which is pretty minimal. Sorry, Miss Edie, did I see your hand?
Thank you, Chair. I had put my hand back down, but normally, don't they usually list the price on the agenda and the breakdown?
Not necessarily. I think this is because it's a multi-year contract, and that's really the only main reason that it's brought to the committee, because it's a sole source and it's a multi-year agreement. But that is in the memo that was provided.
I don't know. I can just hear Mr. Burnett's request of that happening. Normally that thing should be broken out.
I don't even know why it's coming up here. It because under $25,000,
right,
we don't need approval.
Yeah,
of
it's
this
because it's a
committee.
multi-year agreement. So
So is it 35,000 or is it
no, 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 no.
3,000 per?
No, it's like
It's
Mr.
up to
Holston said,
$3,000.
he said it's up to 2029. That's the only reason.
No. I meant the amount is up
It's
to
through 2029.
3,000
Right.
per year.
No.
So it's for up until 29, it's total $3,000. Well, we're gonna go over that if we have to replace batteries, right?
We would go over that. Or if you have, or if you have a failure, this is really the maintenance side of it. And we really, here's the thing, we really don't want other people going in there that are not familiar with the system. That's
Yeah,
that's what we're protecting against, right? Because if we have looked at other pricing in the past, but if we bid out the batteries, now all of a sudden we're bringing a secondary vendor in who's not familiar with the system. We take some risk with that, which we really don't want to do with the 911 dispatch.
Right.
Yeah.
So we expect to spend $3,000 over the next, how many years? 3 years? And that'll cover the batteries.
My read of it,
That's what
Jim,
you're
and
saying?
maybe I'm wrong, is that this $3,000 is for the servicing. My guess, and I'm happy to be corrected, is that if we need to replace batteries, that we are invoiced separately for the battery itself.
That batteries, any type of emergency repairs, outside of this is just the service agreement for that. We don't want to have to bring somebody else in to do the servicing.
Okay, so how much is the servicing a year?
It's not that, it's like $500, I believe.
A year.
So it's not much. That's not the reason why we're bringing it. It's a small amount of money. It's just that we want to be able to go to
I
this.
understand that. I
Yeah.
understand it's a small amount of money. I mean,
Yeah.
this is peanuts we're talking about here, but I'm just trying to get the concept. If it's up to $3,000, how do we get up to $3,000? Is that over 3 years? It's going to be approximately $1,000 a year, and then we have to get a new contract. I'm just curious how this thing works out.
The reason why, and let me step in, is the reason there isn't a monetary amount in there is because, as Neil said, we're just approving the vendor, not the actual.
But it says in the backup that it's up to $3,000.
Right. That's what Neil, go ahead.
Well, if we're entering into a contract, and the contract says
It's
it's
an
going to be
agreement.
up to $3,000, then there's an amount there.
It's based on an average year or average costs across the years.
Fine, then it's $3,000 over 3 years,
Yes.
or $3,000 over the course of 3 years.
Yes. But that's just so we're clear, that's just service, right? They come in, they do readings, they do their cleanings. If they pick up something outside of that, that's an additional cost.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the contract that we sign with them, it says up to $3,000 over a 3-year period, not including batteries or parts and labor.
Yes.
Okay, it's like servicing my furnace. Well, maybe not the same.
Cheaper.
Similar. Okay, I think that's maybe something
Alright,
that
that's clear.
if this comes up again, we can try to be as clear as possible. But for
We
$3,000,
don't need but
for $25,000,
point
we don't
here-
need to belabor it. So yeah,
yeah,
go
but
ahead.
if it's under,
Yeah.
so we don't have to come to this committee if we're not signing a contract. So in other words,
There's
if
no
we buy batteries.
this is not about a contractual obligation. This is being able to rely just on this. So typically if we had a repair and say it's over $5,000 or $10,000, we would have to go out to bid.
I'm not talking about it.
Okay.
Okay. I'm saying what we're doing now is we're signing this guy up Okay, we're signing a contract for this service over the next 3 years to pay up to $3,000 for servicing every month. Is that right?
Once, yeah, there's an interval, annual and semi-annual, I believe it is. So,
Okay, well, whether it's monthly or it's
Right.
every 6 months or
Yes.
whatever it is. If we have to buy parts and all that stuff, it's going to be under $2,500 probably, or under
Yes.
$25,000, I'm sorry. And you can go out and just pay for it. And it just goes to the finance committee to be approved once a month with everything else that's up to $25,000. Okay,
Yes.
all right. So
Yeah,
that's all-
anything outside of this, if there's a large spend, we have to go back out. It's not something, we have to follow all the guidelines. We're not, obviously we're going to follow all the guidelines. If there's a large ask or a large purchase or
No,
repair.
I understand
we
that.
have to-
I understand that. The fact of the matter is that and I'll let this go one more time. We're signing a contract that binds the city to use these guys for the next 3 years up to $3,000. Independently, if we needed a new battery that costs $500 next week, you don't have to come back to this committee and get all that approval. It just goes through the purchasing department. They pay for it, and then at the end of every month, the finance committee takes a look at what was spent, all of those expenditures under $25,000, and says, okay, fine, no big deal. So that's all I'm saying. It's just that we signed an agreement and we bound the city for $3,000 for next 3 years, whatever it is.
Correct.
Okay. Sorry to belabor this.
No problem. Thank you.
Good to understand the process. Thank you. Thank you, Jim.
Okay.
Jan.
Just, I really appreciate the underlying concerns. It seems pragmatically that it would cost more money for us to have to go out to bid rather than depend upon the single source vendor every time we needed a new battery or repair and service. I think the key word here is sole source vendor, and I have no objection to it. There's a very strong support for it.
I tend to agree. Any other thoughts on it? Okay, I think Jan did make the motion. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We'll send that up to the council.
No more questions from me, Neil. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Neil.
Until
Thank
the
you.
council.
You have a great evening now.
You
Yeah,
too.
wait till it comes
Take
before
care.
the council. Though.
Take care now. Bye now.
Thank you. That takes us, that was the last action item for tonight. I do believe maybe I'm looking at the wrong agenda. Do we have a building construction update on the agenda tonight?
We do, but yes, we do have E and F still on the agenda in
Am I looking at the wrong
regards.
agenda?
Yes, this is the amended one. We did add these two on because we were able to sneak them in, not sneak them in, just be able to get it done because it is a timely issue, get it done now. So, if you want to need to find it. I can put it up on the screen if you'd like.
Either way, I don't have it. I
Okay.
don't think I received that amended agenda.
Okay.
But
Do you want me to read it?
thank you.
So read all, should I just do all three for E?
Yes.
Okay. So E1, authorized to hold a public hearing at the next Land Use and Building Management Committee for Eversource Energy easement for electrical service upgrades for the Merrimack School HVAC IAQ project. 2, refer the proposed Eversource Energy easement for electrical service upgrades for the Merrimack School HVAC IAQ project Planning and Zoning Commission for approval in accordance with the Connecticut General Statutes Section 8-24. And 3, authorize the mayor, Barbara C. Smith, to execute any and all documents necessary for an Eversource Energy easement for electrical service upgrades for Merrimack School HVAC IAQ project.
And Dan Phillips is on the line with us. He is with CSG and oversees these projects. If you,
I'm sorry, can we just get a motion?
yes,
I'll make the motion to move the item.
Thank you.
thank you, Darlene.
All right. Yeah, this is Dan Phillips. I'm here with CSG. If there's any questions regarding this memo for the easement at Naramac, and this came up and has been coming up on a number of our projects for used to be for new services, Eversource would require an easement, but for upgrades, they're now requiring an easement. And this is the first step in the process to get that in place, and that allows Eversource to move forward with their work and the procurement of the transformer that we need on this project.
And just to clarify that the cost of this easement's built into the overall project?
Yes. So any of the surveying costs, the title searches that need to be done, we do have Eversource costs, which it's all built into the project within the budget.
Right.
Thank you, Dan. Are there any other questions or discussion around this item?
Nope.
All right, we'll call a vote. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Thank you. And then we'll go on to item F. Miss Edie, if you don't mind.
Sure, no problem. F1, authorize to hold a public hearing at the next Land Use and Building Management Committee meeting for Eversource Energy easement for electrical service upgrades for the Rowayton School HVAC IAQ project. 2, refer the proposed Eversource Energy easement for electrical service upgrades for the Rowayton School HVAC IAQ project to the Planning and Zoning Commission for approval in accordance with the Connecticut General Statutes, Section 8-24. And 3, authorize the mayor, Barbara C. Smith, to execute any and all documents necessary for Eversource Energy easement for electrical service upgrades for the Rowayton HVAC IAQ project. I'd like to make a motion to move the item.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And is this also to Dan, if there's any other context?
Yep, and it's basically the same as what we just spoke about for Naramac. Similar projects, part of the, I believe there's 5 or 6 HVAC indoor air quality improvement jobs going on at various schools, and it's the same timeline as far as getting an easement approved for this work to take place over the summer this year. That's the first step in that process.
Terrific. Thank you, Mr. Jagenshine. Oh, you're still on mute, Jan.
Thank you, Chair. This is a fantastic step in the right direction. And I believe that this has to do with the gifting of funds that were provided through the hard work of our Senator Bob Duff. I do want to ask that at public hearing, Mr. Phillips, if you could be prepared to describe why you think that the location of this easement is the best location for the easement. Obviously, when you are providing an easement, it does prevent the use of that portion of land for other purposes, or it has the potential to do that. So I don't object to this at all. I think it's absolutely necessary, but let's just address it for a minute or two during the public hearing.
Understood, and we are prepared to respond to that. For your information, at this meeting, the Naramac transformer is remaining in the same location that it already is, and then at Rowayton, it is shifting, which we believe improves the location as well as reduces the number of new requirements that Eversource would have required to access that current location. which if you're familiar with is right at the entrance of the school. So we'll be prepared to speak to that at the public hearing.
Could you also make a point, Dan, that I noticed on the plans that there will be some trees removed and replant and new trees planted on the Rowayton School?
Yes, we can speak to that. And just a note, I will confirm for the public hearing, but those trees actually needed to be removed for the existing transformer location. I would have to confirm that they can remove the existing one without removing those trees, but the new location, they wouldn't need to take them out to access the new location. So hopefully we'll be able to save those.
Okay, because I thought I noticed on the plans that it says remove certain ones, one or two of them, and then replace them. But okay, that's fine. It's no big deal.
Yep, the proposed easement attached to this memo was based on the current site plans, and as we finalize those documents and coordinate the actual parameters of the easement, that'll be brought forward for approval, and that'll show all of the details.
Okay, good.
Thanks, Dan. Brian?
Just super quickly, the Rowayton Elementary community overwhelming supports getting HVAC into the school. We have classes canceled, in the late spring so this is fantastic. So with any issues around the easements, I'm sure the community will be very well supportive of this initiative going forward. Thank you.
Good. Good. All the easements in Rowayton. Any other discussion on this? Hearing none, seems pretty straightforward. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dan. I believe now we have come to the end of our action items. And so we can move forward in the agenda to our building instruction update. And as per our meeting in February, we wanted some updates on the spending, particularly for the new buildings. And so I believe that CSG and come prepared with us tonight. Dan, over to you.
Yep. Thank you. And we have prepared a budget summary to give you a quick overview. I'm actually traveling this evening, so that's why my camera's off, and I've asked Joanne to share the presentation, and I will go through it the best I can and answer any questions.
Are you able to see this?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
And we'll start with kind of going through the typical format, but South Norwalk Elementary School, as you know, the school is occupied in August of 2025. We recently, at recent meetings, approved moving forward with a rooftop solar system. So as part of that work that's planned to be bid out this spring and constructed over this summer, we will be extending the closeout for the project. I know there's been a schedule attached to this that shows closeout kind of nearing completion around now, but we will be reaching out to the state, notifying them that we are using the remaining free balance to install solar at the Sono School. And if we jump to, this is the schedule I referenced that we should have been closing out by now. And then we have the budget update. And what we've done here is we have a more detailed schedule that we can get into at another time, but just a high level overview of the current project budget in the second column. The overall state approved budget for the project was $76 million. And then the next column is the paid to date. You'll see that some things worth noting here is the other professional fees. It looks like a lot, but $11.5 million of that was for the land acquisition of that property. So that kind of puts it a little bit out of skew, but there's 131,000 remaining for the balance to pay, and that's just remaining budgets for consultants and inspections and things that may need to take place. So that hasn't been closed out completely, but those first two lines are 98 and 99% billed. Construction cost, we're up to 95% billed on the project. FF&E and technology, those were completed. The remaining funds to be paid are just some cleanup with closeout, change orders and payments with contractors. Ineligible costs, there again, this is another one that a large chunk of that is associated with the land acquisition. That's the state only reimburses based on the appraised. The city paid approximately $2.5 million over the appraised value for the property. So that line, we're approximately 44% billed, and that as we get to the bottom here, there's the $1 million that we've allocated for the solar project, and then the free balance, which is included in that ineligible cost line. We've noted it down below what the contingency is. It's the free balance of 2.892 million, which is really most of that remaining to be paid under the ineligible costs. So overall, this project, the budget was very healthy throughout. We were able to acquire the Oxford properties and expand the project scope quite a bit there. The state did recognize those Oxford properties, and that's, well, the construction work related to the Oxford properties as reimbursable at the 60% rate. And then we were able to do this solar at the end of the project based on the available free balance. And we still have approximately 2.9 million remaining that'll potentially go back to the city at the end of the project. If there's no questions on the Sono, we'll jump to
I
the
do.
normal.
Sorry.
I think there's one question.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jan.
Yep.
Thank you. Just one very quick question. Do you have the cost per square foot of the brick and mortar at your fingertips?
I definitely do not have it at my fingertips, but I could inquire and find out if you would like to know.
I would for the next meeting. It's not that urgent. And the
Yep.
same thing for the high school, as which is projected at this point, of course.
Yeah, I can look into that.
Thank you.
We have the high school project. If you've driven by there, you may have seen the progress from either the high school side or King Street side. Closer to the high school, the building envelope is pretty far along. We currently have metal panels, glazing, masonry work going up. There, over 50% of the openings have been infilled with the final glass. Site improvements, the team is making their way over towards Narragansett. They've constructed a retaining wall over on that half of the campus, and they're looking to get into that Narragansett field work over the upcoming summer. Interiors, as you can see kind of in this photo, the corridors are shaping up. There's mechanical, electrical, plumbing, overhead work in place. We have ceiling grid going in some areas. As far as finishes, sheetrock is being installed, finished, and we have started some finished priming and painting in some of the classrooms in the Norwalk High School wing. And I know I haven't made it out there in the past week, and I know a number of you have, so you may have a better idea of how far along the building has come. And just the overall project schedule to be completed in 2027 for occupancy in the fall 2027 semester, with the football field, track, tennis courts, field house, concession stand being completed in late 2027 into 2028. As far as a little more detailed look at the Norwalk High School budget, similar format, showing the different categories that we break up our budget in to manage this project. The architectural design. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to move it. Design at 81% build. Other professional fees, 55%. Construction costs, we're about 40% build on the construction costs to date. Total FF&E, we don't have paid to date or on FF&E. We're currently in the design phase, or programming and design phase of FF&E, which we plan to finalize before the end of this year. Go out to bid, get numbers on, and release those in early 2027 so that we have the furniture spring, summer of 2027 to outfit the new building. But our current FF&E budget is $6.65 million. And then total ineligibles, we have 10 million, which is our contingencies. And really the kind of the meat of this, if you could scroll down a little bit, Joanne.
Yeah.
Is the original state budget for this project was $239 million. Early on in the project, we anticipated that there would be additional costs, and we were some of the items that we delayed the buyout of were the demolition of the existing building, which we recently awarded at a favorable price. And then we have site concrete, which is another big ticket item, as well as the post-tension tennis courts and the grandstands and press box portion of the work. In order to do that, we did shift some of the existing funds for FF&E to make that award on demolition early. But we always anticipated that additional funding would be required. There was a capital budget request that I think at this point, Board of Ed has started that process, and I think was just approved recently by Board of Ed, and that is making its way through the approvals. What we've outlined here is that although the anticipated increase is going to be $21 million, roughly 10 million of that is for additional contingencies, and that is the result of more polluted soil was encountered in the first phase of the project as we came up out of the ground, and we do anticipate that some of this we will encounter potentially more in the second phase when we go to demolish the existing building, as well as the concern on the other half of the site for rock removal. But with the as we currently stand, there's $3 million of contingency remaining, and an additional $7 million is being requested, which 3 million of that is the rock removal and the polluted soils that we've listed and asked for as part of the capital improvement budget request. So it's kind of the high level rundown of where we started, where we're going, and what's being done to complete the project with the anticipated costs right now.
Thank you, Dan. Just pause to see if there are any questions or reactions.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. What is post-tension tennis courts?
Oh,
Sorry, do you want to repeat that question, Jim?
What is a post-tension tennis court?
Tennis courts. It's, I should be able to really explain this. But it has to do with the underneath the inside the concrete. There it
Yeah,
has to, yeah. It's just the way that
there's
tennis courts are laid.
there's reinforcing strands that are within tension
Yeah.
inside the slab. So it's not it's not like a sidewalk or a concrete slab where the rebar just sits there. It's tensioned and taut so that
Yeah.
it keeps everything pulled together nicely. And it's really how any
Yeah.
uh,
Tennis courts.
regulation tennis court is built. And I know Joanne has a
Yes.
athletics background, so she might be able to speak to it better, but I've never personally built one. I'm familiar with the process. I don't know all the details on.
Does this prevent the surface from cracking? and
Yes, longevity.
expanding? Okay.
Yes.
And then how many tennis courts are there?
Normally there's 6. I believe there's 6, correct, Dan? 4 to 6.
Yeah, but I believe we have 2 rows of 3, so 6.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
There would be nice tennis courts.
Mm-hmm.
You can go play there, Jim.
Yeah.
I see a hand from Miss Edie.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Dan, for the presentation, and thank you, Ms. Joanne, for putting this in here. We asked for this in the last meeting. And now, did I miss this in the backup, or this wasn't in the backup, right?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, I was like, oh. So can we have a copy of this, and can we post this?
I'm gonna leave that up to an Alan question.
Yeah,
Because yeah.
I think that's the plan, Nicole. I spoke to Ellen earlier. I think this, they were kind of finishing this up
Right.
as recently
Okay.
as Monday, and so it was not included in our backup, but it is going to be shared with the committee and with the public.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Questions?
If there's no other budget related questions, we could flip through some additional photos for those who were not able to make it on the tour. We'll go through quick. I know it's been a long meeting, but this is a drone photo showing the progress. This was taken in early February. And as I was saying, as you over towards the high school side, which is on the right of this, the exterior is more finished. And to the left, you can see that there's still openings that drop down into the band area, the band performing arts section of the building. There you jump to the next one, Joanne.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And this is the student drop-off area. A little rough at the moment with the mud, but I don't know if it's just my screen, but it just went back to the drone. Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. They jump to the next one. This is those openings we saw from the drone image.
Yeah.
Which shows the interior of the performing arts band space, which is less finished than other areas of the building. This is what I believe to be, I don't see the caption at the bottom.
Sorry. That's the media center, I believe. Yes, project room.
Project room for, I think that's P-Tech or the high school, P-Tech.
Yes, P-Tech.
We'll jump to the next one. We'll just
there.
Go. This is the Norwalk High School project room. It's 2. P-Tech has 1. High school has 2, one on top of the other. Here's roofing on top of the auditorium area, which they're nearing completion of the roofing, and the snow has slowed that down a little bit, but we're still on schedule. Not a very exciting photo, but one of our few painted walls with some overhead MEP, but a finished wall with paint on it means we're getting towards the finishes. one of the corridors. You see all the above ceiling is complete. That's all the MEP work, and then ceiling grid is going in. That's a sign that we're again getting close to start putting finishes in. The rough MEP is complete, and we're starting to turn a corner on the project. Let's see what else we got. The HVAC projects. Well, we touched on two of them in the memos, but Brookside substantially complete. Some minor cleanup items and closeout that's going on right now. Rowayton, they're installing VRF units and controllers in the classrooms, and we're coordinating the work that's taking place in the corridors right now. And there's
Are there pictures?
there are not pictures.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're not very exciting.
But really, a lot of the work currently is being taken place off hours, or we did a fair amount of it over the winter break, and we're ready planning for the April break for another wave of work, and then those projects that need to be turned over by summer and completed will be are on schedule to be completed by that time, and some of the work does run through the summer when we have access to more of the schools, understanding that there's still summer programs that we need to coordinate with. But I really kind of a quick update for the HVAC projects, and the overall schedules are included here if you do desire to jump into the details, but everything is moving along. And as soon as we get those easements, we can finalize Eversource for the summer, early summer work to get those new transformers installed.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dan. And again, we will be sharing that to make sure folks have the updated budget documents presentation that was shared tonight. Great to see everything moving along. And I just want to make a note that it was on me, although not really on me, on my email address, that we missed the Norwalk High tour last week, but we're going to have a special one just for us. And so stay tuned for that. Yeah, it's good that we're going to have some AC this summer, because it looks like if we have more snow days, the kids will still be going to school in July.
Yeah, to July.
That is correct.
But anyway, thank you all. I believe that takes us to the agenda. Fairly long meeting, but very productive. So much appreciated. Mr. Degenscheid.
Just wanted to move to adjourn.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank
Have
you
a
all.
great rest of your
Great.
evening.
Take care, guys.
See you all around town soon.